was interesting. We were chatting at the coffee shop that's something now that brands are really hot on when you're having those conversations. Is not how big's the audience, how big's the reach, what's the content going to like. It's actually what is this ROI and how do we track that call to action and we track the actual output of this. Are you having more of these sort of much more financially driven conversations with brands in this day and age? Are they coming? Is that one of the first questions you're having rather than at the end like it might have been before?
We take ownership of that. Right. So the first question we'll always ask is, what's your campaign objectives? What's the metrics for success here? Because the last thing we want is at the end of the campaign, you coming to us and saying, well, that flopped.
Right.
But if you didn't give us metrics, how can you tell us whether it flopped or not?
Yeah.
But equally, how do we know if it's a success? So there's two ways. One, ROI. If they're spending £1,000, they want to earn that back at least, if not more. Two, brand awareness. So how many views are we generating? How many, click-throughs to the website have we had? People might not need to spend money, but if they've clicked through as a result of that person's link or their code or whatever it may be, that's a success metric. Great. The third, maybe you could argue actually, is level of content. Are you paying for a highly produced piece of content that can then be licensed and can be put onto a targeted Facebook ad, or could be for a TV campaign or whatever it may be, or a dark ad on TikTok? Those are kind of the three areas. Once we've nailed that down, we can then, and I have said this to brands, they could come to me for one of our creators and go, this is our metric. This is how we're going to view it as a success. And funny enough, actually, they won't mind me saying, this was with Woody and Kleiny. The other day we had a brand, I won't say who it is, came to us. We broke out the whole deal. We worked it all out. And they actually turned around to me and said, hang on, we think actually our best performing platform might be this one over that one. Let's be honest with them, because the brand was sort of saying we might need to do a minimum view guarantee.
Right.
Because, the numbers, they hadn't posted on that platform for a little while and they were a little bit skeptical about it. And we ended up not doing the deal, because we went to the brand and said, look, we actually think that you would be more beneficial working with the boys on this channel that is performing stronger. And then we can build a proper relationship rather than us taking this deal now, not hitting those targets, and then we don't work with you again. The boys agreed, and the brand came back and was like, we didn't expect you to say that. Love the honesty. As soon as we're ready to activate on a different platform, you're the first people we're going to call.
Yeah, nice.
And that's more how business needs to be done in our industry, because you can't con people anymore. You probably used to be able to get away with it 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
You can't anymore. The numbers are there. Numbers don't lie. Everyone can see them. There's so many platforms out there that you could log onto as anybody not even in the industry and have a look at people's engagement rates and what do they drive, how many sessions they drive for that. That's what it is. And some of the biggest deals now, which is interesting, are happening that are not even minimum guarantee based. They're affiliate based. And there's people that are driving, and I said this to you earlier, people that have 50, 60k followers could well drive millions of pounds worth of business for a brand over a period of time because of their audience. And as that creator or the manager of that creator, I'd be sitting there going, well, hang on, instead of saying, let's take a 10 grand retainer a month to post this content, why don't we just take a percentage of what you're driving? Is that not going to work out better for us in the longer run?
Yeah.
And that's then when you start opening up the conversation about equity brand deals and, that versus cash up front, etc., which is a whole interesting world.
Let's pause there, because what Jake's really talking about here is the difference between looking impressive and actually being effective. For years, too many people in brand marketing and media have been obsessed with surface level numbers, follower counts, reach, headline views, vanity stats that look good but don't actually tell you whether something really worked. And Jake's point is simple but important. The right stat is the one that connects with the outcome. For example, if the goal is awareness, then measure the awareness properly. If the goal is traffic, measure clicks or hits onto a landing page. If the goal is sales, then measure conversions. As Jake says, a creator with 50,000 followers and genuine trust can actually be far more valuable than someone who's got 5 million followers but hasn't actually got any real influence over behaviour. I think the term influencer is chucked about so easily these days, but I guess a great question to ask is, does the influencer actually have any influence, or is it just attention that they're driving? And this is a huge lesson for any founder that's listening. Don't build your marketing campaigns or even your business as a whole around numbers that just flatter your ego. Build it around numbers that actually prove something useful. That's the real shift that Jake's describing here. Don't always go for the big numbers, go for the better numbers.